The third principle of biblical health, we have named it here as fresh water. Okay? The Bible in the book of Genesis, again, the model, the pattern that was given to man, it declares to us that a river went out of Eden and became 4 river heads. Now, water has been used or nominated in the scriptures for not just for internal use, but also for external use. We were talking before about the germ theory and the soil theory, and how actually the biblical theory talks about a wholeness or a holistic, with a W, of hygiene. Now, cleanliness in the outside, in this case by using water, and also cleanliness in the inside by the usage of water. Let me define water for you by an opposite definition. If it is black, sparkles, and it comes in a red bottle, it is not water. Some people think that's water. Let me assure you, it is not. If I would ask the question, how many here drink water? I can assure you that most of you will rise up their hands. I inquired with an old man once. He had these cramps, strange cramps. He was like just bending over and getting smaller by the day. And I said to him, "Friend, do you actually drink water?" And he said, "Oh yes, I do." I don't know. I said to him, "How much water do you drink?" And he said, "About a glass." And I looked at him and said, "A day?" And he said, "Oh no, a week." Now, he drinks water, all right? That's not enough. The brain is about 75 to 80% water. What do you think it will happen to a body that is dehydrated and a brain that is dehydrated? Headache. In fact, the study shows that at times it is more the 2 glasses that we drink with the aspirin or the Panadol that has more effect on our headaches, or even quicker effect on our headaches, than the Panadol or the aspirin will do. Now let me show you a number of quotes or a number of researches that are happening in the medical world in terms of water. This particular research says that the thicker the blood, the bigger the risk of a stroke and heart disease. How is it that the blood becomes thicker? Very simply, when the body is dehydrated. Now, more and more we're having people that are taking medication to actually thin the blood up, to make the blood thinner, so it can go through the blood vessels easier, and therefore trying to prevent strokes by doing so. But if that person is like that old man that drinks 1 glass of water a week, are we solving the problem? Is the problem that the blood is thicker so we need to thin it? Or is the problem that that person is not drinking enough water? This study actually shows that the dehydration in the body thickens the blood and therefore increments the risk of a stroke and heart disease. Look at this one. This study shows that the lack of water causes dehydration of red blood cells, making them less flexible, and they have a greater tendency to clot. Makes sense. What's the solution? Water. This one, the issue of blood thickness in thickness in diabetes is of particular concern because high viscosity levels might play a role in diabetes-related kidney and nerve damage. So now we're talking about diabetes and dehydration. What about this one? There appears to be a link between high blood pressure and blood viscosity. In other words, red cells being starved of water and high blood pressure appears to be a link in this study. But now I want to show you something that it might be of interest to you, especially to the young people. It seems to me that the young people are more addicted to those bottles that are red, that have a liquid that is black. Normally they drink it cool or cold, and it has a sparkling in it. And as I said before, that is no water. But so, especially for the youth, this study might actually be of interest to you. I had a quote. I had another quote here. I forgot. Drinking liberal amounts of water helps to dilute the bile in the gallbladder and thus decrease the risk of stone formation. That's actually for gallbladder formation. Gallbladder stones formation. The usage of water is vital to prevent that. And now the study that I was mentioning before. There is a scale called the pH scale. Okay, the H is for hydrogen. It's basically a simple scale. For those that have swimming pools, they know what that is. It's actually checking of how acid or how alkaline a substance is. Now, we have from 0 to 7, the level of acidity, and from 7 to 14, the level of alkalinity. All right? Each element, whatever it is, has a pH. Either it's alkaline or acid or right in the middle, 7, neutral. Now, the blood itself has a pH of 7.35 to 7.45. What does that mean? It means that if your blood goes one side of that figure, below the lowest figure or above the highest figure, your body will enter into a crisis and will probably enter soon into a coma, and it will die. In other words, if your pH in your blood starts dropping to 7.34, 7.33, up to 7.22, you will probably enter into a coma and die of acidosis. What actually makes the blood pH change? Well, you probably guessed it, lifestyle. Stress, the diet, the way we live makes our blood change their pH. Now, not necessarily so low as 7.22 because you are listening to me and you are not in a coma condition. The body has actually dealing mechanisms to keep that blood at a safe level. And we are going to discuss some of those dealing mechanisms and how they are actually acting in your body. A healthy cellular pH is around 7.5 to 7. Let's say a neutral pH. So that's your cell, okay? Cellular pH. Now, the ideal pH for cancer is around 5.5. Now, when you actually check on people that are suffering chronic diseases, they normally suffer from a lot of acidity in their bodies, okay? The stress is not helping. The diet probably is not helping, the drugs is not helping, and the disease itself is making the whole body fairly acidic. And that in itself is helping the cancer to actually propagate even further. The average soft drink has a pH of 2.6. In other words, when we're drinking that black liquid on a red bottle with sparkling in it, this is what happens. Your blood tries to go down. 7.33, 7.31, 7.3. How is it that we can drink that bottle and not enter into coma? Well, that is where the dealing mechanisms of the body come into place. The body actually segregates into the blood system the substance that is the biggest alkalinizer that the body contains, or that the body has. And that substance is calcium. Calcium, as any gardener will tell you, helps to rectify the pH. Now, how does it do it? It actually takes the calcium out of where? Out of the bones.